Okay, gang, so we've got through all the introspective self stuff, and we can take the safety belt off a bit and relax a bit now and go back, reduce the pace a bit, and we can now look at the business. We understood what the business requires. It requires us to look at ourselves and to see what we need to do to change, to create the life that we actually want to live and create the business that we want to have. And what I'm going to show you now is our 6-step methodology on how we go about doing that. Our definition of a business is a very simple definition. It's a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you. Commercial, profitable business that works without you. If you don't have that, you still then have a job. So let's look at the 6 steps as a building. Let's look at it as a building with 6 stories, starting with basement level, and that's what we call our mastery. Our floor 1 is what we call our niche. That's a very fancy name for our marketing. Then we have our second floor, which would be leverage, and that's a very fancy name for systems. And then we have our third floor, which is our teams. Then we have our fourth, which is synergy, and then finally our final floor is results. So synergy is really about getting the business to be working in unison. Everything is working well. We have a well-oiled machine, and the results are for you. The results are what you decide to do with this perfectly constructed building that has no more cracks, no more defects, no more inaccessible fire exits, no more rising damp, and. So I'm going to unpack these each for you in detail, and you will then be able to go through each step as we go. So look at it as a building, and what we do when we're coaching our clients specifically around this model is we always say, there's the elevator shaft. And we're going to bounce up and down between the floors of the building so that we can stop and service problems along the way as we're going on the route to creating this building that's perfect. So let's start at the very bottom, and let's start with mastery. Now, mastery is the foundations of this building. It's the stuff you see below the ground. And mastery for us equals a commercial enterprise, which means we've got to get something to offer, okay? So the 4 areas of mastery, and we'll go through them one at a time, are destination mastery, money mastery, time mastery, and delivery mastery. Okay, destination mastery, money mastery, time mastery, and delivery mastery. Destination mastery. If we don't know where this business is headed, how will our clients and our staff and the people around us ever know what our business is about or where we're going? So delivery mastery for us becomes the very cornerstone of this building. It becomes the first port of call that we look at to getting right in the business. Because it's at this stage, the destination mastery stage, where we set the company's vision, we set the company's mission, we look at the points of culture in the business, and we look at the business's goals. We look at the business owner's goals. So it's very important to understand why this is important. And the work we do very early on with our clients, and we're always touching base with it, is what is the vision for this business? Do we need to dust it off? Do we need to revisit it? Do we need to cement what this vision is? And for us, we always say, what is the 99-year picture of this business? If you had to close your eyes and look into the future, what does the business look like in 99 years' time when it should be complete? Obviously, it's a bit like that. You're never going to see what that is. It's going to be all misty at the top of that mountain. But to understand what the vision is, what you're trying to achieve with this business, we can scale that vision right down back through to our 10-year goals, our 5-year goals, our 3-year goals, and our 90-day plan. We can do that with it. That's fine. But we've got to understand what it is you're doing this for. And you'll see it actually becomes very important in our systems when we systematize these businesses, because it's with understanding the vision that we can keep going back to why are we doing what we're doing and keeping things in the straight and narrow. So to understand the vision, 99-year picture. The business owner sets the vision. You are in charge of creating, that is where we're going, the plots on the map. The mission is how we support the attainment of that vision. The mission is how we're going to go about doing this, the mission statement. So an interesting concept to look at with your team is, how do you get your team to create the mission for you? You created the vision. How do you get your team to say, well, we like that. This is how we think we should get there. Then it's looking at points of culture, the playing field of the business. It's the DNA of the personality of the business. This says these are the value points, the core values that we subscribe to as a company. So understanding this, and I call it the fluffy stuff, getting the fluffy stuff done right in the beginning, especially in businesses that are new, that are transitioning, that I feel like they've hit that plateau, is to relook at this stuff again and see what's important now. Because we do know that life is like a meandering river. Things will change. It's not always going to be the same. It's important to know that the vision is still what it was when we set it out. As far as I'm concerned, it should be cast in stone, but we should be kind of tight loose about that. If it doesn't serve the company now, redirect and point the business in a different direction. The goals. And for those of you who've been part of the Action Coach community, you'll know that we work explicitly around creating 90-day blocks of windows of time that we can assess what the goals are for the business. Are we on track? What are the things that are important to this business in the next 90 days? We've got to keep the direction going. We've got to keep the people engaged in your business, and we do that by setting realistic, attainable, accountable, results-based, time-based goals for the business. Another thing we do very early on too with the coaching is we offer an alignment session, and that alignment session just helps bring all the thoughts with you and the partners in the business and yourselves into a line again that says, okay, we are all on the same page, we know where we're going. What tends to happen in busy businesses, especially businesses that grow very quickly, we kind of end up herding kittens in a mall. And going back and having the alignment, and going back to the vision, going back to all the fluffy stuff, we just keep that sorted out so we don't have that situation where we're herding kittens. Any questions around destination mastery? Okay, do we get the relevance of the importance of it? Okay. The second element is money mastery. Absolutely 100%. It is one of the most critical aspects of any business. Most businesses have got a handle on their business. Some business owners don't have a handle on their business. Some business owners are great electricians, and they're really good electricians, but they're really good accountants or bookkeepers. So that's the one aspect of the business that always suffers with the artisan-based business. Now, when we understand that, it's not to go and say, well, what do I need to go and do to get a BCom in accounting? It's about saying, what do I need to do to understand that I get the numbers every moment of every day in this business? I know what's going on. It's all too often we come across situations where the owners put their head in their sand about the business around the finances, and it just gets left to ruin. The problem gets really, really big. And when we stick our hand in the sand, our proverbial behind sticks up, and life gives us a big clap. So, looking at your money, looking at the money side of your business, who's watched Dragon's Den here? Okay, Dragon's Den. You get the guy that's standing up in the front, and they're the dragons, and he can't barely hold himself. And they smell that like blood, sharks smell blood in the water. And Peter says to him, so what was your turnover for the last 3 years, year on year? And he starts to look, and you see the bead, and they're focusing on the beads of sweat coming off the guy's forehead. And they'll ask, he said, I don't understand the question. So then they ask again, so how much money did you make in the last 3 years? What was your year on year turnover? What did you make in? I don't have those numbers. And you watch them slump back one at a time in their chair. Boom, 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 boom. And eventually they say, I'm out. You don't know the numbers. We can't see any of it. We don't even know what your business is doing. You've given us an unrealistic expectation of what you want. Sorry, we can't invest. And then you get the lady that arrives with her team, pinstripe suits, all the bells and whistles, and she fires off specifically around the numbers. And they challenge her, and she challenges them back. And then they catch her off guard, and then she catches them off guard. And then they have this real display of dramatic, almost like a sparring match. And then they start to lean forward, and they look at each other across the way. And they all start bidding for shares in this business because first things first, they know their numbers. That means the business owner is in control of their business. I'm not asking anyone here to become a bookkeeper or an accountant, but know your numbers. Get your bookkeeper to be giving you the numbers on a regular basis. Understand your profit and loss intimately. Know what each element of your business is made up of from the numbers side of things. So a very quick example I've got up on the screen here is also understanding your break even in your business. Know how much money you need to make before you turn the engine on every month. Now, if you've got a product that you can sell or a service that you can sell and a marketing plan that you can execute against, how cool would it be to know that you work your backside off and you can hit your break even at a specific point in the month? So you hit your break even on the 16th of the month. That means your bills are paid. And by the way, if you have a break even and you are in control of your numbers, go back to your break even and increase it by 10%. Put profit into your break even. Because why are we in business in the first place? Are we in business to reach our break even targets every month? Or are we in business to make a profit? So we add a 10% increase into our break even so we can reach a target that includes some profit. That can go off into a profit account. We get right-brained and we get left-brained. I'm not saying the right brains need to go and do left-brain stuff, but get excited about your business knowing that that's what you can do from a creative space. If you're marketers and you're great at doing that, market your business around the numbers. Push these numbers. So now your profit kicks in from the 15th to, say, the 22nd working day of the month. Now we're banking profit. Now we're getting predictable about the profit we're making. I'm not saying this is easy, gang. I'm not saying this is like just going, hey, turn this switch on. I'm saying focus on the fundamental stuff and work this strategy, work this plan as part of your team meetings, as part of what you do in your business, and get as close to this as possible. The difference between where you make your profit and the last working day of the month is what we call max utilization. That's like the cream that just skimmed right off the top. Now we're cooking with gas. Literally. See what I did there? No, that's great. So what I want to just highlight with this and bring it back to that, it's also understanding your budgets. Okay, so you need to look at your operating budgets of your business. You need to look at your sales budgets of your business. So you need to look where the cash flow is coming from. When we look at the sales budgets, that's what we think we're going to make. We bolt on our marketing plan around that. That's how we're going to get the sales to be realized. It's very much like saying, there's the stars, we're going to shoot for those stars. The very last, we might just, if we're lucky, we get on the moon, but it's a lot better than just where we're at right now. So we've got to get detail with that. And I'm not saying you must. We've got to find someone who's close enough to your business that can help you with that. And we can certainly work a lot around creating that. Okay, so the budgeting and things like that do become important. They are projections in time. They allow you to see where business is going. It's very vital that you understand those. But we've got a lot of work to do around this space for you because there's massive opportunity. Yeah. Okay. Guys, too, the other thing is around what you're using. Look at the systems that you're using around your finances. There's a lot of very, very high-tech stuff out there nowadays. A lot of high-tech stuff. There's applications that are completely free that you can run your business off of. But know your numbers. Know your numbers well and just be on top of it all the time. It gives you, it's like driving in Hilton when the mist is set in and you can't see the headlights. It's just like that's how bad it is. And then when you understand your numbers in your business, it's like having a laser cut through all that mist and you can just sort of see what's going ahead of you. The next set of mastery, or next element of mastery is time mastery. So we have clients that have no problem paying, no problem with their money side in their business. Their biggest issue is they don't have any time. that don't have time to do the things they want to do. They are working 70, 80 hours in their business on a weekly basis. And yes, they build a great business, but for a lot of people, time is the one thing that means the most to them. And the kicker with time, it's the one unrenewable resource that we have. We can make a bucket of money, and we can lose it all, and we can make it all again, but we never get our time back. So if we look at the greats of our modern times around industry and business, guys like Elon Musk, they have 15-minute blocks of time in their calendar where their day is broken up literally into 15-minute scheduled items so that they can get through all the things they get through. He has people launching sports cars into space and landing rockets on the moon, and they have the same amount of time as we do in our day. What are we doing with our time compared to what they're doing with their time?
Probably ADHD, though.
Exactly. They are completely ADHD. They have to be doing things, and they go to bed at 3 o'clock every morning and, waking up at 5:30, and that's you.
I don't.
Really? Okay. So, we all wire differently, we get that. But to understand time in your business, it's almost like what we're doing with you as well.
The different hats.
Yeah. So we all wear different hats in our business. We all got to do different things in our business. But how much time do we spend allocated to those different hats that we wear? Some more to areas of business that we should not be doing. Some people are not marketers, and they spend a lot of time trying to market their business. Some people spend a lot of time on the finances. They're not finance people. They're right-brain people. We spend a lot of time on these things, and that's what also kills the progress of the business. We can't execute a plan because we spend a lot of time doing the things we need to do or have to do in the business. So let's look at a time target. And if we take a typical day, we've got different layers of time. So the first outer ring is called the distraction. That takes roughly 10% of our time. This is the worthless time. This is the time that there's no value added to anything. We go on YouTube to watch Jim Rohn video, and then we're watching, kittens play with pianos and things like that later on. And that's what happens. It's pure distractions. It's getting on Facebook and being lost in it's nothingness. There's no value added to our day. Then the next one is that's the not urgent and not important at all. There's no bearing on the success of the business in that time. The next one is the urgent but not important, and we call that the delusion. Now, who's had that day where they've been so busy but they don't know what they've done? Okay, wow, those hands will shoot up fast. We think we're achieving stuff, but we're actually not. Okay. So one of the areas we look at this area of the business is we say, okay, let's look at your daily goal setting or your daily planning. So I get the idea around this is a new trick that we've got to learn in business. It's a new discipline we've got to learn. But this is saying, let's take your work that you've got to do tomorrow and let's plan it today. So we spoke a lot around energy levels waning at 3 o'clock, but getting up early at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock. I have a hashtag for my clients. A lot of my clients that are really around the time issue, I go hashtag 3 p.m. Your day must be done by 3 p.m. So you've got the time to plan from 3 to 5 or do the marketing or do the stuff you need to do that you can plan for tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So we get rid of those days, I've been so busy but I don't know what I've done. Urgent and important, that's what we call the demand. This is taking care of the real deal stuff. This is now executing on those plans that you've set. This is teeing up urgent and important things that the business and you need. Going to the bank to sign the documents, going to meet the new prospects going to take whatever it might be, that you can do it outside of your business where you don't have to worry about what's happening at the office, so you can take care of the important and urgent stuff. Then the sweet spot is what we call the zone. It's the not urgent but important stuff. This is finishing at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock so you can go watch the kids play sport, knowing that your day has been done and has been constructed well and you've executed against your plan. It's when you play in the zone that you are working on your business and not in your business. And that is the concept we would need to drive home around time. Is you only can work on your business when you're freed of the time around the things that have been holding you back from working, that you've been working in the business around. Work on your business, not in your business. And that does require a lot of effort in the time space. So there's 2 documents that we always say will transform a business. The first document is a cash flow document, in and out. Just a simple cash flow document, going in and going out. And the second document is what we call the default diary. That's the document that says, this is how my weeks looks, this is how my month looks. And or the calendar, we've all got fancy smartphones. Set up a calendar on your phone that when your calendar pings, you put this down and you move to the next task. Because if you do that in that sequence, you should be finished at 3 p.m. The discipline is actioning that and stopping what you're doing and moving to the next thing. And I'm not saying go and create like structured hours and create blobs of time if you're not good at this yet. Give yourself a blob of time that you can play in a space. But when you finish with that blob of time, move on to the next thing that's in your calendar and get good at it. You'll know, and you'll know as well from the coaching days. Did you just rock up in reception hoping to catch a session with the coach? No, your session reminders are sent. It's sent out all the time. You arrive at a specific time. And it's a structure around your time that liberates the business. 100%. It also gives you back, when you're playing in the zone, it gives you time to do the things you want to do as a human being. Go and watch your kids play sport. When last did any of you manage to do that? So here's the thing. There's percentages here. Give yourself that percentage of time. It doesn't have to be exactly those things, but ideally you want to have somewhere here where you're able to focus on a percentage of time in the day where it's, let's not change who you are, because if you want to do B, don't have this prescribed, I must do this whole thing, and it's got to fit.
It makes me more efficient, and I've got to look at it. I mean, I can't be, I can't reject it because I've done it like that for 100 years.
I would be looking at saying there's the calendar for the week, and that's what I need to be doing for the week, and having daily goal setting around what you need to do for the week, and then it can grow on you, and you can work around it, but just know that there's certain things that you will need to do that you just got to find the time that best suits you to do it. If you're in your PJs or not, it's okay. Okay, the lastly is delivery mastery. So the fourth area around mastery is delivery mastery. And I don't need to say much more about the imagery I'm using around delivery mastery. You get the same experience wherever you go. It's so consistent. It becomes boringly consistent. But it's through that boring, consistent delivery that the business does well. It just does the same thing over and over again. So a lot of your guys' concerns early on were around service delivery and customer. This is where you could be locking in on the mastery. Is getting that sales process waxed so well that it includes the delivery that makes the customer smile for whatever reason. So the local examples I use, if you buy a Nyapi Chef, you get a nice little badge and a handwritten note. And blow me down, if you buy a toaster and then you buy a blender 6 months later, you get a handwritten note that says, I hope you're still enjoying your toaster and it's working well, rah, rah, rah. This blender will match nicely, whatever it might. So there's an attention to detail in the sales process that delivers well for the end results. The other thing around delivery is make it easy for your clients to buy from you. Don't make it difficult for your clients to buy from you. They don't need to be sent down the passage up the stairs to go and fill out the 28-page credit application. Make it easy for your clients to buy from you. Okay. Any questions around anything you've heard of mastery? So just to recap. Destination mastery, mission, vision, points of culture statement, goals. Money mastery, getting to know your numbers, understanding your numbers intimately. Time mastery, be in control of your time. It's yours to own, you need to own it. And delivery mastery, be boring about the consistency of your delivery. Create a system that works and be boring about the delivery of it. Okay, so moving on. Niche. We will accelerate through this, so it gets a lot more quicker as we go through the rungs of the steps here. So niche for us really is about creating a commercial, profitable enterprise. It's now about creating profits in the business. If we think of the building we've created, now we've got the structure right. Now we can actually put a marketing block on top of it that we can start to market this good business. Why would we want to market a business that's got cracks in all those different areas in the foundation area? So niche becomes a very fancy word for marketing, and what we try and define niche as is finding the point in your business where you no longer compete on price, you compete on value. One of the best ways you can do this is to create your USP, your unique selling proposition. So you don't want to be the same as the company down the road or the direct competitor to you. You want to stand out as being unique, because they might go cheap as they are a little bit more, but we get this, this, and this. And in fact, if you ask Eloise this question, a lot of your clients will go, cheapest, but I can get them slightly cheaper somewhere else. But will they do this? Will they do that? Will they do this? Does the owner of the business get in a car and deliver? No, they don't tick all those boxes. Okay, well, we'll go with Eloise because we're assured of that service. So one of the ways you develop a USP specifically is to look at what your competitors are doing really, really well. What are the guy down the road doing? What is he doing well? What is he not doing well? Why don't people like dealing with him? Okay, obviously you're very fortunate in a space that there's nobody doing what you're doing. But find the uniquenesses in the businesses that you're competing with, and then position yourself as the expert in those additional areas for one way of doing it. The other uniqueness is there's got to be something that's special that you only do that nobody else can do. What is the one thing that we are the world's #1 business coaching firm. The other really clever way of getting your uniqueness stamped in the market is a very clever guarantee. Now remember, guarantees sometimes are not anything more than what's legislatively documented. So your CPA, your Consumer Protection Act, requires you to do certain things in terms of honoring things to your clients. So you've often seen the text on the bottle that says, if you're not completely satisfied with this product, return it for a full refund. Why am I going to even look at another product when I know I'm going to get a full refund of a product that I'm looking at buying? So look for the guarantees in your business. If you're not, our guarantee in our business is, if we don't find our fee in your business within 17 weeks, we'll coach you for free until we do. We've got to look for that fee. We've got to find you, but there's our guarantee because we believe we're that good at doing it, what we do. So find the guarantee in your business. Most people don't. Most people breeze over things that they offer in their business as being just part of what they do, but that's a selling point you're missing out on. In our tech days, and this is only through Action Coach as well, we developed this. And our guarantee was that if we couldn't fix your PC or your issue that you had in your computer, we would send it to a company of your choice and we'd pay for it to be repaired there. That was what we advertised. That was what our uniqueness became. And it said, we're that good. We're not going to have that ever be on it. So, okay. The key with these, though, the one thing with the guarantee, especially if you've got a guarantee and you're proud of what it is, you've got to make sure you can honor it. The moment you can't honor your guarantee, you're going to be all over social media like Piggly Wiggly at Christmas time.
I didn't see it till after Christmas Day.
Okay. All right, so that's in a nutshell pretty much what we're trying to achieve with that. I'm going to talk you through what we call the 5 ways now as part of the marketing section of the 6 steps. And if there's one thing that you're going to learn, please learn this and make sure this becomes the epicenter of your business. I call it the secret sauce of business. This becomes like what? It's like 2 chassis of a car. You can have a GT, a Ford City Golf, or you can have an Audi R8. Both of them use the exact same chassis. It's just 2 very different cars. So we're going to look at this chassis in your business now. We're going to ask the question: what car do you want to be building? An R8 or a City or a Golf? So if we think of a business has 3 outcomes that it searches for. It looks for clients, it looks for turnover, and it looks for profits. That's right? Fair to say? There's nothing really else the business needs. It needs clients, it needs turnover, it needs profits. Those become the equals. Those become the equals of a lot of work that's got to go into the equation before the equals. So, it truly does get exciting when you understand this concept. And this is why for you, and Paula for you, and for you guys, and for everybody here, this model becomes something which I would love to see in conversations going forward. Our 5 ways says this. Number 1, number of leads. How are you bringing leads into your business? Where are the leads coming from for your business? How are you actively searching to bring leads into your business? What are you doing to invite people into your business? So you all understand the concept of lead generation. How many people here measure where the leads are coming from and actively work on strategies to improve the lead generation? Now, the interesting thing with lead generation is businesses generally tend to stick to a few things that work. Word of mouth, for one thing, is your premier source of hot referrals because people are really warmed up to what your business can offer. All the other conventional strategies. We're very close to 90 odd strategies for lead generation. So to understand what we're able to do in your business from a differentiating perspective, we can now look at applying a whole bunch of other different strategies to what you're currently doing. So our model around marketing and looking for leads is what we call our 10 by 10 strategy. And the 10 by 10 strategy says we want to look for 10 areas that make sense to us to market the business. And we want to test and measure each marketing opportunity on its own merits. And what we look for is we look for 10% pipeline from each of those strategies. If we get that right, what do we have? 100%. So what happens in the space, it doesn't ever really end up like that. What you'll have is you'll have 4 of the 10 strategies peaking and bringing in a lot of interest, and the others not peaking, which is cool because then we strip those out and we bolt on some more and try until we get a real sweet spot of a mix. This requires a lot of effort. And the reason why we test and measure and do what you guys are doing is because if we understand the numbers that are currently coming through from the marketing strategies, we can get better at what we're trying to achieve. So a typical example is corporates generally go, there's 30 grand a month in the witness. And we've got money in marketing. But there's nothing to quantify how much that marketing opportunity is paying back. So marketing sticks as an expense in the balance sheet. So what we're trying to achieve with this is to say, let's figure out what you need to be doing. Let's work the strategies that are easy and relatively cheap to afford to do, but let's test and measure the results and responses from those. So this model works on a product, it works on a salesperson, it works on a week, a month, a year, it doesn't matter. It's a scalable product. So now we've got our leads coming into the business, and we're working through now what do we do with the leads that have come through. So now the inquiries have happened, and now we've got to follow up with those. So now we're going to look at the conversion rate, or the conversion actions that need to happen. So there again, understanding how many of those leads you actually are converting into clients. And we ask the question, and you'll see there's an assessment form in front of you. What's your estimated, or what's your conversion rate? Is it estimated or is it known? And what do you think your conversion rate from lead to client is? And a lot of people go, it's 70, 80%, definitely. You can halve that, and you can halve that number, and you can probably halve that number again, and then you get your true conversion rate. But there is, as far as we're concerned, is massive opportunity, huge opportunity. So think about this as a reference for your business. If you phone Tiger Wheel and Tire and you ask for, I'm looking for, let's do a bit of role play. I'll pick up the phone and ring, and the guy answers the phone, and he says, Tiger Wheel and Tire, good day, it's Sam speaking. And I go, hi Sam, I'm looking for a price on tires for a BMW X1 2016 model. Sure, no problem. What does Sam do? Taps on the computer, and he kicks me out a price. I go, thank you, Sam. Then what do I do next?
You find the next company.
Find the next company. So I lose the potential conversion. I've already got there. I found them. Now I've lost them. I've got to go. Now I'm looking for somewhere else. So I might not go back to Sam at Tiger Wheel and Tire. He might have been a really friendly guy on the phone, but he didn't give me what I actually wanted. So if we phone HiQ next door, and hi, it's Clyde speaking. I'm looking for tires for a BMW X1 2016 model. Clyde, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? Just so I can help you better, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? Yeah, sure, no problem. So how old are the tires of the vehicle? Have you had them for since? Yeah, and I've had them. And he goes off on a series of questions that he's asking me around my needs. What am I inclined to do at the end of that conversation?
Go with him.
Potentially just go with him. You know, it doesn't matter. The point is, on a conversion process, it becomes like fishing. You put that line in the water and you can feel the bites. And if you're not reacting to what the fish are doing with your bites, you're going to lose that opportunity. You can't keep doing the same thing, putting baits in the same spots, hoping it's going to work. So a simple question like, just so I can help you better, can I ask you a few questions? It creates depth immediately with your relationship with the prospect, and immediately you have an opportunity to convert that client. So what we talk about with that is about building rapport. That's about building rapport. The point again too with this is to know the number. Get to understand what that number is. Because there's also roughly 90 odd strategies for converting your clients. This is about, so your top number of leads is about marketing. Or your conversion rate becomes about your sales process. All right, so now we've worked those two things and we've got an understanding of what those two sets of numbers are. We now end up with our customers. The number of transactions. This says how many times are we selling to a client in a period of time? How many times do we actually get to sell our products to our clients? Some businesses, it's one transaction per client. But we beg to differ because that person knows a bunch of other people that can help us, and so we can increase our transactions like that. But generally speaking, we might sell a few times to a client near or once to a client near. And this is the thing. Once a client generally buys from us, they're gone. We don't see them again, we don't ever talk to them again, and that becomes a travesty. Because that person has found out who you are through your marketing means, you've managed to convince them to spend their hard-earned money with you and part with it so that they can buy what they want off you, and then we don't ever invite them back to our business again. So it's going to sound really, really tacky, but it sounds a bit like a one-night stand. So, here's the thing. That newsletter you spoke about, I want to invite you back to my business. I want to get you to come back and buy from me. And this is why. This is the new model that's arrived. These are the new accessories that have just pulled in. This is the new range of flowers we've got going. This is the upgraded version of the app. Might cost you to upgrade it, but it's going to give you unlock all the and. So once we understand the number of transactions, we understand the methodology behind it, we can then start to invite our clients back into the business again. Darmgiller, the shop at the mall, the men's shop?
Yes.
Okay. They had a red carpet VIP sale where they locked the doors, literally had their top 20% of their clients, their top 20% clients, come through to the store on invite only, and they were given the opportunity to open the new range of polo neck shirts, whatever. The store guys hadn't even seen what they were. And these shoppers these clients were able to get the first opportunity to do that. They invited them back to do that. They made them feel special. They then obviously stimulated a very nice little opportunity for them to buy more from them. You've got to think of what your business requires, but it's to submerge yourself in those 5 areas, or these 5 areas at least, that are going to give you that opportunity. So then we look at the average rand sale. Average rand sale says, when our clients are buying from us, what are we doing to upsell them, to improve that average rand sale? So the story we use around this is you go to Builders, and you go to the paint section, and you're looking for paint. Then all of a sudden, behind you pops a salesperson and says, "Hello, ma'am. I see you're looking for paint." And Louise goes, "Yeah, I'm looking for some paint. Do you mind if I help you through this process?" And Louise goes, "No, sure, I'd love that. So, ma'am, is it indoor paint, interior paint, exterior paint? Tell me about the paint." "No, it's outside paint." "Okay, well, we've got this." And the process happens. Then as Louise is starting to make her decisions around things, I'm going, I've got a checklist here of things you might need for your painting. Do you have the floor cover? No, I don't. Do you mind if we add it to the purchase? Because you're going to need it. And a little brush that you get, and blah, 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 blah. So a 500 Rand or 1,000 Rand purchase could become a 2,000 Rand purchase, not because he's overselling, but because he's upselling, or he's cross-selling, or he's doing something, but he's working through a strategy to improve that average Rand spend. With you guys, you're probably doing it. There's a bra, top of the range bra. There's the rest of the accessories. You might also like these things. That's why they ask that question on online stores. You might also like to add this to the shopping cart. Why? To improve that number. And I'm going to show you what happens when you improve that number. And then lastly, your profit margins. So there's two ways to improve your profit margin, easiest ways. The one is to drive your expenses down and raise your prices up. Now, and that's at this point in the conversation I get stuff thrown at me from the audience. Oh, but we live in Africa and it's so tough and everybody's this and that. I get that, I do get that. Then let's look for price opportunities to save money in the business. Sometimes business owners never push their prices up. They're just too scared to. The only person scared to do it is the business owner, not the person that's on the other side of the transaction. Some people don't even care. And if you push your price up by 10%, which I'm going to show you what will happen with this model, it's a remarkable exponential growth in your revenue. So one of the easiest ways to drive your costs down in your business is to reduce your costs of inefficiencies. So look at the areas of your business that cost you money. The extra delivery because you've forgotten something on the van, or the extra something that's made you have to go and do something where you're hemorrhaging a hole and you've got to just throw money in it because you've got to look for those costs of inefficiencies. Run a lean process, because the less you pay on that, the more you make in your bottom line. Okay, so let's put some numbers around this. Let's say we've done this for a year, and we've measured and monitored your numbers for a year. We've 5,000 leads, we convert 25% of them, we get 1,000 clients, we transact twice a year, we sell to them $100 per transaction, and we end up with a 25% profit margin. Now we end up with a 50,000 Rand profit for that year. There's our status quo, because we've got the numbers around this stuff. Now we apply some of the other 90-odd strategies. Now we work through changing your newsletter structure so it invites people to buy back again. Maybe based a bit around the Yuppie Shift model, where we target specific shoppers on stuff that they've already bought before. We get them back. We have the upsells. We add a line of upsells in. We decrease our costs. Let's just say we're going with this stuff, and this is the stuff we do. So now we want to increase each of those 5 areas by just 10%. We're not adding 10%, we're just going to increase it by 10%. So we do a bit of marketing, and we get out there and we get some social media stuff, and the website works, and everything starts to bubble and squeak a bit, but we just get 400 new leads into the business. That's just 400 phone calls, emails, inquiries, whatever that may be. We convert more because we ask the question, just so I can help you better, do you mind if I... Now that gives us an extra 210 clients. Managed to get 2.2 because we have a referral strategy in place, or whatever the story might be. We increase our average Rand sale by 10 Rand. We add 92,000 Rand to our turnover. We increase our prices by 10%. And we get a profit of 80,525 Rand. That's just 10% in each area. I've got a client now that I'm working with that we've just worked out. It was the average Rand spend and these two here. She's not a marketer, but she can upsell the products. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but it is basically doubled what it was a turnover revenue. Basically more than doubled what her turnover was from a small business to just doing those two strategies. She's probably got about, I think it's about a 70% increase in one of those two areas. Just that alone has made a massive difference in the business. So I'm not saying let's blow the lights out with all of these areas. Find the areas that are weak in your business and work those while we work the other strategies as well, because we've got to do that too. How does that sound? That's a 46% increase in turnover and a 61% increase in profit just by going through a 10% increase. Obviously, increases are like saying swear words in your business at the moment with markets, but that's fine. Find other ways too. And this is why I want Ronel to work on this. Because do they know you do other lines of products? Do they? And that's the thing we can work through and expand on the flyways with that. So the big question is, what are you prepared to invest in your business to get this kind of result out? This is the thing. It's what are you prepared to put into, and what do you need to put into your business to get those sort of returns back out? Okay, so quickly moving on, leverage. Very simply, leverage now is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works. Needs to work. It's all about the systems. And systems save yourself time, energy, and money. As the business owner, when you get this right in your business, this is where your time is bought back. Immediately, you buy your time back in an instant. So we've got 9 ways of systemizing the business. And I'm going to go fairly quickly through the first ones. Now, we spoke about the importance of these early on in destination. Understanding that stuff allows you to go straight back to it when the times are tough and understand what you're doing and how you're doing it. So it keeps people in check. There's no gray areas about what the business is about, what the rules of the game are. So the culture statement, for example, is something that very much can be defined as this is how we play the game of this business. SMART goals. This is what we do every 90 days with our client community. Specific goal. What are we out to achieve? Measurable. Can we measure the performance of this goal? Can we get there? I've replaced the A of achievable with accountable. How accountable are you to get this goal realized? Can we show results from this goal? Are we getting there? And then time-based. What time are we setting this goal to be achieved? And by when? So it's got to have those elements to it. If we don't have those elements to it, it becomes a conversation that we just kick around until nothing ever happens. Your organizational chart. Get your organogram sorted in your business. Your organogram is your accountability chart in the business. It says who's doing what by when. It's saying who's doing what and who reports to who. What's the structure of how the business needs to operate at? And I know it might sound silly, but if you take the business that you've got and all of a sudden it does this, and it needs that structural playing field or blueprint to work with, it not be the worst idea to actually say, what does a future organogram look like for your business? So that if it does grow, you're ready to catch the progress of growth as it goes. Positional contracts. This is about giving people clarity about what it is their job entails. Complete clarity about what their jobs entail. Your KPIs, your key performance indicators. These are the measurements of the tasks that we've got to do in the business. Marketing, 10 new calls a day, 10 new leads a day, 5 new old clients a day. That's from a marketing perspective. Customer service, how many clients, happy service clients in a month do we want to receive? So the numbers, the KPIs become the number measurement against the tasks that we've got to set out. How-to systems. So the how-to systems become critical in extracting you as the business owner from having to spend tons of time inducting new staff into your business. So very much like what Brad's done with this business. There's our how-to systems. There's all the books. By the way, you can buy a book. We sell the books there.
Is it not like a library where you can just borrow them?
No.
Disappointing.
You just lost that sale. You should have done it.
Maybe because it's sold today.
No, we do with clients, we lend them out, but they've got to be clients. So,
No, they're 350 per book for your library.
So how-to systems are critical. I knew a company, a local company, that bought a business for dirt cheap. Okay, basically it was a cheese business. They bought a really, really good potential business, a great product. And the guy did it as a hobby anyway, sold it out to some guys I knew, and they ran this business as the owners of this business. So they knew the cheese recipes. They got in the car. They delivered. They cut. They did everything in the business. When time came to hand the business over to the new owners, because they sold the business for a very handsome amount of money, there was not a lot of the stuff. So between this how-to systems and management systems, there was not a lot that they were able to get the new business owner going with. So it took even longer for the new owner to get the process going, whereas if there was proper how-to systems on everything, the recipes were drawn, there would have been videos of how to do things, files on how to, everything would have been there. It would have been such an easy process to slide over. But the one for me, and why it's the most important one, is this: your management systems. How do you manage your business? You want to sell your business and hand over a set of keys and receive a check in return. You've got to make sure that that is the seamless process as possible. Documents on where your passwords are and what who you use this with, and how do you structure your management style in your business? What are the processes that work? All that kind of stuff. It's so important when you're running a business, and especially if there's any new businesses. Get that done early on so you can build on things. Will it ever be the same? And going forward, it might change a ton of times. Get it right. Sort it out. So there's the sort of the 9 steps. And yeah, Instant Systems is probably, there it is in the back there. It's a great book. It's a practical book around how to build solid systems in the business. It's not around any specific business, it's about your business. So what are you missing out on now by not having good systems in place? Look for those and find those. Okay, so pretty much lastly, in terms of the 6 steps, is the team. Now we've got a commercial, profitable business that works without you. A commercial, profitable business that works without you. So, what happens in business, especially businesses that start small and grow big, is this guy here. He has a wonderful relationship with these guys down here. The owner of the business takes care of the clients because they've built such amazing relationships and they've grown so much with them, so much so that it's a reciprocal street. They only want to deal with you as the owner of the business. So what happens is all your time is taken up dealing with your clients when we neglect the 2 most important things, which become the team and the business. We neglect the team because we don't train the team, we don't spend time with them, we don't nurture them, we don't give them the line to go and learn and grow. We don't do any of those things. We also disregard the team because if you want the job done right, you've got to do it yourself. Nobody does it better than the business owner. And that's like committing career suicide in a way. So the thing is this: if we take this model and we go, the ideal world says your job as a business owner should absolutely 100% be taking care of that team, putting a big heart around that team. Systems, training, incentives, buying into the vision of the business, being part of whatever it takes to make the staff feel that they want to take care of your customers for you. Because what happens is when you sever the link between the team and the owner, that immediately severs the link between the team and the customers. Then the customers has a link severed between the business because they don't come back to the business. They don't refer people back to your client. They probably don't pay on time. They couldn't be bothered about all that stuff. So now the business doesn't support the owner by giving him profits and returns. And generally what happens at a point in the month, maybe it's at a point in the year, this poor guy is dipping into his bond to take money out to pay the business's salaries for the team that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So, simple cycle of business. If we take care of our team will take care of our clients will take care of our business takes care of our owners. There it is right there. So we look at our levels of engagement, and this simply means how are your staff engage with your business. And what this is based around is a pretty much accurate stats, and you can give or take a couple percentage points. Actively engaged means they are at work at 7 o'clock in the morning and they're leaving at 7 o'clock at night. They want to be at work. They are potentially the new employees, where the new broom sweeps clean. They live, eat, breathe your business. Then it takes about 3 to 6 months, if they're the new employee, for the cracks in the woodwork to present themselves in the business and the owner. And they start getting the zig with stuff, and they start giving maybe empty promises, that kind of thing. All of a sudden, they're arriving at work at 8 and they're leaving at 4:30. They're doing their job. That's about 10%. That's about 20%. No, I lie, 5%, 20%. Disengaged is about 70% of the workforce, where they don't want to be at work. They arrive at work on time, just not, if maybe not overtime. They leave just before they're supposed to. They take their chances. They couldn't care. They're there for a paycheck. 70% of the workforce sits in disengaged. And then the other side, then the other 5% isn't actively disengaged, which means they unfortunately no longer need to be in the business. They need to move out. So your point as a leader in the business is, how do you, if your bell curve is very much like this is here, how do you improve it so that you've got more people sitting in actively engaged and engaged than you do in disengaged? Are you ever going to get people out of disengaged? Probably not. You can't please everybody all the time, but you can certainly build a business that makes an environment conducive enough for people to be happy to be there. So we've got 6 keys to a winning team. The very first key is strong leadership. This is about being an effective leader. This is about setting out your own intentions as what you require from leadership for yourself. It's about understanding that for your business to grow, your team need to grow. It's about being a leader, not a boss. Remember, leaders lead and bosses boss. The next one is a common goal. So if everybody has an idea of what we're all out to achieve, are we easily able to row a boat where we need to go if we've got all hands on deck? Yeah. So the common goal, it becomes a very important criteria around getting staff enrolled and inspired. Rules of the game, it's very much like we spoke about with the culture statement. It's understanding what the playing field of business looks like and playing within those parameters. Understanding the repercussions when you drop the ball forward, but understanding there's also a reward if you kick the ball over the poles, and so on and so on. And then an action plan. So it goes back to the positional contracts, it goes back to the 90-day goal setting, it goes back to all those things. Do we understand what we need to be doing, yes or no? If we don't understand what we need to be doing, let's figure that out. And then supportive risk-taking from both sides is to get your team to be able to support you as the owner of the business to take risks in the business, as well as empowering your team to be able to take risks themselves. And then last and not least, 100% involvement, 100% inclusion. It's getting your team to be involved in your business to levels that which you might have neglected in the past, around certain things that require maybe a deeper or a more of a down-to-earth level of thought. So for example, a typical example would be things like factories. You've got issues with production lines. Well, you've got guys that work those production lines all day long, but they'll fly in fancy professionals from all over the world to sort problems out where you might find the solutions are sitting right on the floor. Involve your team in how you think you could do this business better. Any questions around the team stuff? So the other thing around team is recruitment. Looking at how you recruit your team. One little tip here. Okay, you've got to sign up for the rest. But just joking. When you get a CV in, what does the back page generally have? References. Okay. So what do we generally do? Phone the references. So here's the thing. Phone the company and go through to a random department. Phone the company and go through to the accounts department. Or phone the company and go through to anybody that answers the phone and say, do you mind if I just ask you a quick question? Did so-and-so work here? And try and get the exact same feedback about the person from that person you're speaking to as a person that was on the reference. Why? I'll phone a friend. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. So just bear that in mind. It's a great little tip for recruiting going forward. Yeah? So yeah, just going back to recruitment again, I think it's also very important to look at your recruitment process that you have and develop a recruitment process. I know you guys have got a pretty strict one at the moment, if I remember correctly, which is good, which is really good. All right, gang, so now we end up with literally the last two, synergy and results. It's really at this point in time when the business is operating on its own. We've put the fires out, we've improved, we've fixed, we've made this building look really, really good. It's operating like it's at optimal temperature, and it's just on form. So when we talk about synergy, we talk about being able to step away from the business, not have to be there as the owner of the business. It probably does still require you to check in on time to time and do what you enjoy doing in the business, but you certainly don't have to be there anymore. The results section, the results level of the business comes in where you're able to decide what you want to start doing with this business. Do I want to sell it? Do I want to create a passive income from it? Do I want to replicate it? Do I want to franchise it out? What do I want to do with this business? And it's only at that point do we then get to sit back and go, there it all is in its grandeur. So, as Richard Branson said, if you can learn to do one business properly and you can really make it work, there's no reason why you can't do it over and over again. And the methodology and the tools and the strategy that you've seen today are just some of the small things that you can do to get that right. Well, if you can apply the simple standards here, you're able to build a business that allows you the springboard to do things in your life. At least get things like time back and whatnot. So Jim Rohn, never wish your life were easier, wish that you were better. And work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And I like this from Brad. Where you'll be in 5 years will depend on the books you read, people you associate with the most important actions that you take. So, time to get into some action. Here we go.